Wow. Just an unbelievable game, an unbelievable range of emotions that was. To go from last night, really almost not even being able to sleep, um, after making the four-set decision to, being able to pull that game out tonight is just unbelievable. I have to give a tremendous amount of credit to Shana's superb team. They were superb. Just as a team and as an organization, to just to even to have the foresight to have picked up Mike Evans on the morning of the game and then to have him go out there and get 31 points. I mean, that's just unbelievable coaching, and that's one hell of a team that we ended up beating. I really didn't think we were going to be able to pull it off, but I guess luck was on our side. But I literally, but I certainly, I tip my cap to Shana and her team because they showed why they are and have been at the top of this league this season, because they are just a really good team and a really good managed team as well to, like I said, pick up Mike Evans that morning and have him go out and have a game like that. All the credit in the world, but thankfully we were able to edge around.
Why did you play Steve Smith over Forsett?
Well, originally going into the week, we had said that we were going to watch the game flow and see how it was going, and if it was a close game, we were going to play Forsett. And if it was more of a long shot in the flex, we were going to put Steve Smith Sr. And our analysis going into the game, or going into that Pittsburgh-Baltimore game, was that it was much more of a long shot than a close game, which was a mistake on my part. Because we felt confident that Forsett would get the yardage. We just thought that while there was a lower ceiling, there was much more of an upside for Steve Smith, in our opinion. Like, we thought Forsett would get about 15, about what he got. But we thought that Steve Smith, had the potential to have a 20, high 20-point game. And especially after last week having that touchdown called back on the offensive pass interference for it being a Sunday night game. I played a hunch, and it was wrong. But I thought that he was going to have a bust out big game after everybody had been doubting him. Fortunately, so my feelings last night were I was just devastated. I literally couldn't sleep because I was just so upset that I made that decision, thinking that this game today was going to come down to it. Going into the game, she had a 28-point lead, and we had Andrew Luck going, and we thought, he could get that, and a little bit over that. We thought even 35 points is what we were projecting internally, but she still had the defense going. She still had the Indianapolis defense. We thought that 6 points was going to make a difference. There were the 7 points that Forsett actually got more than Steve Smith. We thought that was going to make a huge difference. We thought that was going to be the game. We thought we were going to lose by like a point. So for him to have a third quarter like that and just have a game like that, Andrew Luck, it's just such a relief, and I can't believe we pulled it out.
Why did Brown so Smith?
Well, the Hawkins decision was just based on matchup. I mean, he'd been, performing pretty well over the last few weeks. He's been getting the targets. He still got the targets this week. He just didn't make the receptions. But he was going against Tampa Bay, and we just thought, it was a strong matchup, and that's why we played him. Otherwise we would have played Steve Smith. And he didn't do much better. He got 2 points more, which really almost made the difference in this game. But, but it wouldn't have made the Forsett decision, a difficult one. But, it was one of the things that I was gonna. I literally thought at that point, because especially looked like Auburn's team was gonna lose. I thought it was gonna make the difference between us being in first place and fifth place. But turns out second place. But either way, it was it was just a devastating decision. But somehow we pulled it out.
Talk about the performance of your running backs versus our running backs this game.
Well, our running backs, it was really what drove this. I mean, that was the thing. Going into the game, if you would ask me, if we could hold DeMarco Murray to, have this be the first game they didn't get 100 points or 100 yards, and for him to, get such low scoring in the game, and hold Peyton Manning to a reasonable, score, which we feel that, upper 20s certainly is, and to have Lamar Miller not, perform as well. I think it was only 13 points. If you would have told us that was going to happen, we would have said that this would have been, easy. Or not easy, but we would have thought that, stressless, I guess is the best word. That, we wouldn't have stressed over it. We would have thought that we would have had it, and that would have been it. But for her receivers to have a game like that, is impressive. I mean, thankfully Anquan Bolden had a big game. That was another thing. First of all, he's been great all season. He's gotten, double digits pretty much most weeks except for like 2. And he, has been phenomenal against St. Louis. So we certainly played that matchup, and we thought that was going to be really good, which is what we needed from since Golden Tate was out on the bye. But we needed that performance from him. We needed every performance that we got from every one of our players. Just to get us over this.
Are you concerned about Julius Thomas and Steve Smith Sr.'s performance over the last few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is an area of concern. Julius Thomas, for the beginning of the season was, great. And as was Steve Smith. You look at Julius Thomas, the situation there is it's just Peyton Manning has found Emmanuel Sanders not passing off to him as much. So it certainly is an area of concern. I mean, he had 2 receptions and a touchdown. I mean, and he had an okay game. But if he would have had more targets, he would have met his average and been fine. I mean, so it is troubling to see that he's just not getting the targets. Maybe now with Welker actually probably done, he'll get more targets. I don't know, but as far as Steve Smith goes, Torrey Smith, who I still don't. I mean, but he's getting some of the touchdowns, but he's still not getting that many targets. So Steve Smith is it's just one of those difficult situations. I mean, he should be doing better, and we're sticking in there hoping that he does, but. It is troublesome, and it's something that we have to look at. With Golden Tate coming back, I mean, we're certainly looking, at options for Bolden being more involved, and for I mean, I don't know. The thing is, like this upcoming matchup, he's playing Tennessee. I don't know. It's matchup dependent. He needs to do something soon, otherwise we need to make a move. But with Golden Tate in there, who has been phenomenal in Calvin Johnson's absence, and still had pretty good numbers before he was there, and I think before when he was there, and I think he'll still have pretty good numbers. We just need to find that one receiver that can be consistent to go in there. And as far as the flex goes, I mean, we do have a wealth of running backs on our team. Mark Ingram has been phenomenal. We picked him up after the hand injury, and held on to him and just occupied a spot with him. and it paid off when he got back. He was phenomenal before he had the injury, and then since he got back, other than the one game where he first returned, I mean he's been great. And Jamal Charles has absolutely picked it up since the first couple weeks. So and then Forsett has been great, and then you have McFadden back there too. So we do have a wealth of running backs, thankfully. When a lot of teams in the league are struggling there. But it is, the receiving core is somewhat worrisome. But,
With the trade deadline approaching, are you thinking of making a trade for someone?
Possibly. We've been in talks. We'll see if we get a deal done. Receiver is certainly an area that we're considering to boost up, especially with the wealth of running backs that we have. But I don't. And there's other deals that might be in the works. But I don't know. I don't want to talk about it or speculate on it. If it happens, believe me, it will happen.
Your season going forward?
Well, it puts us in a good position. That's all that it does. It brings Shana back down to the level, because if she would have won this game, I think it would have been. I mean, you're never assured of anything in this league, but I really think that going forward, she probably would have had a command on first place and had the bye. Now this opens that up. She's still tremendously competitive. She still has a lot of points. So one off week for us and one on week for her. This could be. We're already tied. So it's week to week, and it's the league overall as a whole is just so competitive. But it puts us in a better position right now, and as we're getting into the stretch run, these are the kind of wins that you need to have. And we knew this going into this. We circled these two games on our schedule this week against Shana and next week against Team College Ave. We've been preparing for that for a while because we knew that Andrew Luck was going to be on the bye. So we picked up Carson Palmer. So we've been preparing for these 2 weeks for a long time. The one week that definitely did catch us by surprise, but absolutely taught us something, was the loss to Doug Flutie Rules. But because of that, I think we learned a lot of lessons from that game, and I think it will help us going forward, and it will certainly make us focus on the game at hand. But we are absolutely focusing on this upcoming week. Like I said, Team College Ave is they are a team that knows how to win, and they've proven it. I mean, even this week when Forte and Jones were on a bye, he still managed to pull out a win, which is just so impressive. Next week he's going to have Forte going for him. So they are a team that we fear. I mean, fortunately, Tom Brady won't be there, but they are an excellent team. And this 2 weeks, it was going to be tremendously stressful, and really some of the tougher part of our season. And I really had thought that we'd blown it on a coaching decision. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you lose, you lose. If you lose on a decision where you could have done this or you could have done that, but it doesn't really, it wouldn't have been contemplated. That's one thing. But to have made a decision, like I sat there yesterday. Originally Forsett was going to start, and to have sat there and agonized over this decision and thinking that it was going to be what the game came down to, and to ultimately almost have it come down to that. I mean, it was just a sickening feeling to think that my coaching decision that I actually thought about was going to cost us the game. But fortunately, we pulled it out, and I never have to think about that coaching decision again. All right. Well, yeah.